Welcome to the Lounge Lizards podcast. It's so good to have you here. It's a leisure and lifestyle podcast founded on our love of premium cigars, as well as whiskey, travel, food, work, and whatever else we feel like getting into. My name is Gizmo, and tonight I'm joined by Rooster, Puba, Senator Pagoda, and Bam Bam. And our plan is to smoke a cigar, drink some whiskey, talk about life, and of course, have some laughs. So take this as your 43rd official invitation to join us and become a card-carrying lounge lizard. Plan to meet us here once a week. We're going to smoke a New World cigar tonight, share our thoughts on it, and give you our formal lizard rating. We discuss the James Webb Space Telescope. We have an update on the cigar industry's case against the FDA, and we find that a pro tennis player could really use a cigar, all among a variety of other things for the next hour. So sit back, get your favorite drink, light up a cigar, and enjoy as we pair Johnny Walker Double Black with Foundation's The Tabernacle Maduro in Robusto. Our first Foundation cigar on the pod tonight, the Tabernacle in Robusto. This thing is quite possibly the darkest cigar I've ever held in my hand.
Well, don't forget the Liga 9 that you had.
Jumping to all kinds of conclusions right out of the gate, making these definitive statements, but ever had. Darkest ever. Come on.
I do think it is.
Relax.
And I think it's darker than the Liga.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't know.
I was picking these up at the B&M, and
It's right there.
I was very surprised.
I think it's right there.
They're about the same.
Yeah.
Really?
Now, the Liga 9 had a more glistening finish to it.
That's true.
Yeah, this is a bit drier on the wrapper.
Yeah, it's a toothier wrapper.
Yeah, but beautiful. This is a beautiful cigar.
It's a nice cigar. Let's not get in the weeds right away with the definitive statements and start picking that apart.
I mean, in fairness, it's a pretty badass looking cigar.
It is a
It's
badass.
badass.
Hey, no doubt.
It's
Dude.
like this super dark wrapper, this gold
Yeah.
kind of edging around it, and some guy that looks like a
Sure.
king on there. I mean,
Yeah,
What is that guy?
yeah.
He's a weird dude, man.
Right out of the
What is that guy?
Gurkha style of
Is that a
branding.
beard?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. That's a profile shot. My
Yeah.
eyes
yeah.
are
But
shot.
I think he's got a beard.
He's got a beard for sure. He's got a big old crown on.
There's some embossing here. Some fancy embossing.
The label's very nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
It's a grayscale label with gold foil detail on it. Really, really nice.
Mm.
Yeah, that's the lane Nicaragua.
Is that what it says?
Yep.
I can't see.
We like our Nicaraguans.
Your
boys,
magnifying
it's
glass
like
does
a
help. It's impressive.
All right, let's cut this thing, boys. See what we're getting on the cold draw, on the wrapper.
Well, the wrapper, kind of nice. I know you guys said barnyard earlier.
Yeah, it's slightly equestrian.
Why don't you dive into that?
Hey, listen, I think we should just call it Cuban cigar.
Young 2-year-old filly from behind, downwind.
I like the cold draw a
Like
lot.
a female.
Yeah.
A female horse.
Okay. Nice
You know.
cold draw.
Really nice cold draw.
Yeah.
Different.
A little raisin.
Yeah, a little,
Definitely
like a
raisin.
dried fruit
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Perfect
A little
draw.
bit of fig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not unexpected, right?
Right. Have you guys had this? I've never had this cigar.
Pagoda has, right?
Yeah, a lot. This was really my go-to cigar years ago. I used to smoke a lot of Nat Sherman. A buddy of mine, Josh Tinch, introduced me to it and just loved it, and became my go-to cigar.
I've never had a Tabernacle before, so I'm really looking forward to this.
How much are these?
$11.
Wow, that's a deal.
Yeah,
it's a good
it was a good price.
Nice.
And that was at a B&M, so online I think they're probably even cheaper.
Oh, wow.
Open your mind. I'm opening my mind
Yeah.
to new stuff because,
We're happy to hear that.
yeah.
I like this Puba. It's
Yeah,
not even a new
this is
year.
Kindler, gentler Puba.
What are you going to do?
So we haven't lit
What
it
are you
yet.
gonna
We
do?
haven't lit it yet. We'll see.
Hey, listen, I'm not the harshest critic. We got Senator over here who's a fucking ball buster.
Silver tongue, baby.
I think I've actually been one of the nicest when it comes to the ratings.
Have you?
I think so.
Yeah, I guess you're pretty, you are a whore. In terms of, you like cigars a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You like cigars. So,
I'm going to
brings
clip
the
that for the
ratings-
end of the year.
It brings the ratings up because he loves them so much in general.
That's right.
I'm still a tough grader, but I smoke all of them, unlike some over here.
Oh. Well, that's true. I do ditch shit. I'm not going to, I own my shit.
All right, boys, let's light this thing. The Foundation Cigar Tabernacle Maduro in Robusto, a 5 by 50-inch New World stick.
Is this a puro?
It is not.
It's
Not a Puro.
It is not. It's a Nicaraguan wrapper. It's a Mexican San Andres binder, and the filler is made of Honduran and Nicaraguan leaf. So,
Nice aroma on the smoke.
but it is made in Esteli, Nicaragua.
Foundation makes a bunch of stuff.
They have like, I was looking at it, Rooster, when I was at the B&M, and then I was looking online before we did the episode tonight. They have like 11 marcas.
Oh, they have 11 now? I
Yeah, it
remember
was a lot.
when I started smoking, there were just 3 or 4.
Nice on the light.
I used to also smoke something known as the El Giguense. They used to call it the wise.
Yep.
You've mentioned that before, Pagoda. Yep.
I got to say, on the light, a ton of flavor. It's
Yeah.
like lip smacking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not so different than the Liga 9, honestly.
Yeah.
It's true.
By the way, I think he was involved in the Liga 9 as well. So Nick Melillo used to work for Drew Estate and somewhat participated in, the production of the Liga 9.
It's what's interesting about you saying that is I find there's a lot of parallels in how they market and brand their cigars kind of to the Drew Estate thing where, under the head of Foundation Cigars, there's a lot of different lines, which is very similar to Drew Estate, with Liga and the other lines that they have.
If you had to rate this cigar like now, like on the light,
It's pretty good.
it's a 9.
Yeah.
On the light, it's a 9.
It's delicious.
A lot of flavor.
Oh,
A lot
yeah.
of flavor. Yeah.
What are you guys getting?
I mean, like you said, some dried fruit, I
Yeah.
think makes sense.
I'm getting
like
a lot of
raisin and,
raisin specifically for me, and maybe a hint of barnyard. And honestly, it's weird to say, it's a little salty for me, just a bit.
It's not weird.
No,
See what I was talking about?
the silence.
That's the silence. The sound of silence.
Yeah, he's
Remember
right.
when I was talking about that? See, people are like taking it in. There's enough complexity there where people aren't talking and like really taking it in. And it's not just out of the box complaints. So off to a good start, in my view.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Great smoke output.
Yeah.
I think when a cigar is easy to smoke, I think it just adds to the value. I think from my perspective.
Pagoda's in his element with this cigar.
Yeah.
I like it.
How long has
You
it been
know,
since you
it's
had one of these?
3 to 4 years.
Oh, wow.
I used to smoke a lot of these and Nat Sherman. I haven't really bought them online. So I haven't been smoking a lot of these. But whenever the Nat Sherman, I used to.
but Nat Shermans are typically much milder, no?
No, Nat Sherman, the cigar store.
lounge.
I used to
okay.
go out there
Right.
often, nearly every day, and just smoke a cigar or two. And that's when actually a buddy of mine, I was smoking a cigar, and a buddy of mine walked by, and he kind of recognized me from business school, and he said, "What are you doing here?" And we started smoking cigars, and then he's the one who introduced me to the Tabernacle. He's moved since he's in Colorado now, so
Definitely full
Utah.
flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But not harsh.
No, it's smooth.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little espresso.
Yeah.
Deep, dark espresso.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and a little sweet.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, very pleasurable.
That raisin.
I have to look at Pooba every time I say sweet.
I think I'm guilty of saying that too much.
Sweetness. Are you getting some sweetness?
Getting a little bit of sweetness.
You like that?
Cedar.
Tobacco.
The barnyard thing is gone for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I never got that.
That was
I don't
just
have
on
any of
the that was
Yeah, it
just on the wrapper.
Yeah, there's none of that in the flavor.
That was just when we were sniffing her.
Who? Oh, boy.
The 2-year-old filly.
Yeah, we were just sniffing around.
It's back in your day in veterinary school.
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Pooba.
All that ketamine.
Can you imagine if Pooba was a vet?
I'm an animal lover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the question is, can you imagine if Rooster was available?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Exactly. 'cause
Every person that comes in, I think we need to put him down.
But I'm just here for a tetanus booster.
Oh gosh.
he'd be like constantly hanging around the crematorium area, just like
No,
waiting,
no.
just like waiting for intake. Like, I'm in here.
No, we don't need to inject him. We will choke him.
For the listener, Rooster has a history of
Violence towards animals.
No, don't
No.
say that.
I wasn't going to go there.
So, guys, for the listener,
He's got such a good
No
reputation.
for
That
the
hurt.
for the
That
lis-
hurt.
for the listener, again, Gizmo likes to make these really definitive statements, right?
love it.
And just as a disclaimer, quote, repeat the line, end quote, repeat the line. Gizmo is these definitive statements should not be taken, as his entire opinion.
I love animals.
Yeah,
Unless the animal is destroying my fucking yard, it's dead.
So you love
dead.
it.
Namely,
Animal
Or
and-
captured in a have-a-heart cage and released.
There you go.
That's
yes.
right.
Or if it's a raccoon, strangled and thrown into a
lake.
into a lake.
If you destroy my property, that's
You're-
it.
you're done.
You got to go to a different level. I'm sorry.
I'm
The
glad
fact
Rooster
that
doesn't live in Texas.
you grabbed the raccoon with your bare hands is impressive.
That is.
It's pretty amazing.
Oh,
Could have done a lot of damage.
Hope you're vaccinated against rabies.
yeah, right. What other cigars does Foundation make that's notable?
The El Giguense, which I really liked too at that point in time.
They make the
Also called
the wise man,
Yeah.
the Tabernacle, which we're having. They also make the Tabernacle in Connecticut. They have a High Claire in a couple different lines,
Oh,
and
it's
then
the High Clear Castle.
yes,
I've never tried that.
and they also have Charter Oak.
That
which
I've heard.
I'm
that
sure
I've
you've
heard
seen.
That's right. That's their budget line.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
has a white label with an oak tree on it.
Yeah,
Is there one with a blue label? It's kind of like,
That's the El
El
is
Giguense,
that what that
yeah.
is?
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
And
this
they
is-
also have a Jamaican Nicaraguan cigar called the Upsetters.
Oh, really?
Interesting
Yeah.
names.
Yeah. So they have a lot of different stuff.
Aren't we the upsetters?
Jamaican upsetter.
We'll see what the rating is tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, it's funny. So, Foundation, I guess, went viral for a quick second. Apparently, Joe Rogan on his podcast smoked a Wise Man Maduro Robusto that they make and shouted out Foundation.
Oh, there you go. The only one I saw him smoke was the CAO Brasilia, the one with the green and yellow
Yeah.
wrapper. It was a while
Never
ago. I
had
don't
that.
remember what episode. It may have been with Elon Musk or something. that he
Not
was
a
smoking
great
cigar.
stick.
Not good.
No.
He doesn't strike me as and I love, but I'm just going to caveat I'm a huge Joe Rogan fan. I just think that he's so talented and insightful, and I just really love the way he interviews people. I think he's kind of like he did in a different way. He does what a lot of Howard Stern, I feel like, used to do in long form. The
Yep.
beauty of Howard Stern was like when he did his long form interviews. This is before Howard Stern became what he is now, which is a shell of who he used to be. But
They were awesome.
they were awesome, and it's like that long form. He does a great job of listening.
Deep dive too.
He listens to
Yeah.
people, and he doesn't pretend like he knows everything. Really, I like it. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I like the show too. I mean,
and you got to respect what he's accomplished.
totally, and I think that he's totally changed what I think the perspective was, especially with the social media climate, where everybody had this. There was a lot of media that had this perception that there were short attention spans, and people didn't want to consume long form content. And Joe Rogan for 10, 12 years now has been putting out 2, 3, 4, even 4.5 hour episodes at a time. And there's no cuts, there's no edits. It's just straight through a conversation with someone. And I think that, to your point, I think that's why he's able to go really deep. There's no commercial breaks, there's no pauses, and it's a variety of different people. So, there's been a lot of talk about Joe Rogan recently, but take all the politic and bullshit out. It's good content.
Do you consider him a serious cigar man though?
No,
Okay.
No, but I don't think he considers himself that.
He's
Okay.
not. Yeah, he doesn't pretend to be.
Okay. Good.
I think he's a very casual cigar smoker.
Got it.
Yeah. He doesn't pretend to be. But it's interesting. He has different people on, different types of people.
My favorite episode that he ever did was with the astrophysicist Brian Cox. He did a couple episodes of that. I'm a space fanatic, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen, by the way, they recently released the photos from the James Webb Space Telescope?
Man, I've heard about this. I haven't
Crazy.
seen
Let me
an
tell you
image yet.
something.
What is it? What is it?
Okay, so think about the Hubble, right?
Yeah.
It was released, when did they put that up? In the late 70s?
Yes, that's right.
So this is the modern version of that with modern technology. And it's so robust and brilliant. They spent, I don't know, several $1 billion. It took 20 years to build this thing. We are in...
Where is it? Where is
It's in space.
Yeah, they haven't.
it's
they
a
released it.
telescope in space.
But it's so crazy, this technology they put together.
What,
This thing,
what makes it interesting is the mirror technology that they have.
the mirror technology and the
Yeah.
infrared ability.
Yeah.
That the first image they put out,
Yeah.
Biden had a press conference where he released it.
Uh-huh.
The first image they put out, for the first time, we're seeing light from stars and galaxies.
Uh-huh.
This light is 13.1 billion years old.
Yeah, it's from the dawn of the
the
universe.
dawn
essentially. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the
How do
creation
we-
of the universe.
But how do we even know that?
Because
that's
they
the
can
dawn of the
read, they can
universe?
read the age of light. Apparently,
But how do we know that it's the dawn, though?
well, I guess after the big, you'd have. This is why you need to watch that episode with Brian
Like,
Cox.
is
Yeah.
it 13 billion or is it
It's.
like
I
20
think it's
billion?
based
No,
on.
so
really
It's based
know.
on the distance and the color spectrum. I think that's how.
But how do you know it's the dawn, though?
Yeah.
How do you know it's the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know that the dawn was ever used as a word. That may be a gizmo definitive statement.
okay.
But
Oh
but-
gosh.
all right, now I'm taking offense.
Yes, you should. You fucking should.
Thank you.
but
Can we just call it the
But
GDS
to
from
just
here
But
on?
I mean, it's 13 billion year old light, which is
no. So just to read what it says,
Okay.
the image shows the galaxy cluster as it appeared 4.6 billion years ago.
Okay.
No,
That's
no. But
younger.
No.
With many more galaxies in front of and behind the
you
cluster.
just threw water on Gizmo. No. That's what happens when you throw water on the gremlin.
On the gremlin. That's
if
right.
if you look at the image, there's certain
Uh-huh.
aspects that almost look like curvature. There's galaxies that are pictured that are curvature, and the light is a dark red. It's a different kind of deep red that they can tell from this that we are seeing
Again.
light that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
That's 13 plus billion years old.
Again,
That's
it's the
fascinating.
color spectrum that determines
is.
the age
It's incredible.
and
Anyway,
distance.
what's
Yeah.
brilliant about this
It's
telescope?
crazy.
It's crazy, dude. What's brilliant about this telescope is what they're going to be able to see and learn about the creation of the universe
Mm.
is shocking. Now, the picture that they put up, this is the most crazy part to me. The picture that they showed, the first picture,
It's God.
it's God.
It's God.
The first picture that they showed is as if you were standing on Earth and you were at arm's length, holding a grain of sand in your hand. That's the image. And there are tens or hundreds of thousands of galaxies in this image. It's every dot is a galaxy, not a
Sure,
star.
sure.
Every dot is a galaxy. It's unbelievable.
So, like,
There's got to be more life form.
that's what
There
I was
has to
about
be.
to say. There's got to be people that are just galaxies away.
Multiple guesses throughout the
even
bloody
people.
universe.
But like people, but like crazy, not just people, but like crazy
Forms of
like
life.
forms of life,
Yeah.
like dinosaurs, but
Sure.
like even crazier.
Sure.
You know,
The likelihood is very high because of the number of
Galaxies?
galaxies. There are
Folks, the
trillions
movies
upon
are real.
trillions of galaxies.
Apparently,
Yo,
for
dude,
every
if
grain
someone-
of sand,
if someone makes a craft, we're done. Somebody tries to make a craft.
apparently, I
Come
think, and I'm gonna throw a number out. Whatever number I throw out, that's great. I don't know if it's 10,000 or 100,000, but for every grain of sand on the planet Earth, there are, I think it's either 10,000 or 100,000 galaxies in existence per grain of sand on the Earth.
Yeah, I know, but the majority of those galaxies have to be JV galaxies, like not like,
JV.
like not like our galaxy,
Yeah, our
which is
galaxy.
the pimpest galaxy of all time.
Absolutely.
I mean,
The goat,
right?
Yeah,
I mean, you can have a galaxy, but that doesn't mean it's worth shit.
That's right.
you're not wrong. But anyway, I was
The
fascinated
statistics
by this.
would tell you somebody in that there would be life in one of those galaxies that got their shit together.
It has to
Right.
be.
I wonder in those
Am I
galaxies
wrong?
they still smoke cigars.
They're very well made.
I think we should record the podcast from one of them.
I agree. Would you call Elon?
We should.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So what I love about the telescope too is the chances of this thing successfully being launched and then successfully opening to its full size and the like you're more into this stuff than I am as far as you're an architect. So I mean the chances of this all working to the degree it has are like 1 in a billion, and the fact that we are seeing images like this, it's like it takes the same image from the Hubble and the new image from this JWST telescope. It's like something watching Atari in the 80s versus like an 8K image. It's incredible.
So what's the name of the show?
Hubble, the Hubble, you have to look at the technology they used back in the 70s. They launched that, and you're talking many, many light years away from the Earth. It still kept sending images back. It's unprecedented.
It still is now.
It's unprecedented. They've never been able to recreate that technology. They think until now. They don't know yet.
So
they don't know yet.
What's the name of the show?
I don't think it's a show.
The show.
There's no show about
No.
this? That,
No,
like,
it's just called
gives you a
NASA.gov.
debrief or some shit? Oh, I thought...
This is real life.
Oh, I
Google.
know.
No, but he's right. They're gonna.
No, but
they will
I
make a show.
No, but
on
I
this.
thought
They
you were
will.
talking about the images, and there's a place to go to view the images.
It was a
and hear
press release.
Story.
Press
Oh,
release.
NASA's website.
Yeah, NASA website.
Yeah, you can see it in your.
yeah, well, I
Oculus.
need this shit. I'll catch up on Netflix on this thing. And they fucking do with the narrator, and they do the whole thing, and they show the pictures and explain the tech.
Yeah, he's not wrong
I'm
because
just saying, isn't that how you do it?
yeah, shows will explain it to the
It
majority.
comes
of
out
the
on
public. Yeah.
Apple, and it's like in high def, and they show the photos and
Yeah.
everything, and tell the story. Isn't that what they're going to do?
Well, I think this thing's going to have a very, very long life, and I think it's going to teach us things about the known universe and the unknown universe that we've never
So
been
there's
able to see.
There's a really cool show called How the Universe Works.
Yeah.
I think it's on Nat Geo. You sit there in front of the TV, you're mesmerized.
What is
It is.
Geo?
It is fascinating. It's fascinating.
Should we light up the hookah now and
Yeah.
continue this conversation?
Hookah.
Was there a big thing when they launched this? Because I didn't realize it says that they launched it last year into space.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I
it
feel
just
like I didn't
happened.
even hear a big.
It just went up. I think it went in November or December or
Wow.
something.
Yeah, they spent $10 billion on
Yeah,
this.
it's. I think it's one of the greatest feats of human engineering and human collaboration. I mean, people from 100 countries. I mean, it's really an incredible thing that they did.
So
You think we
every
could
country
celebrate
except
that?
Russia.
Every country except Russia.
Fucking
I don't
hope
know
so.
if Russia's involved, and North Korea.
Yeah, we ran the wiring on that device. A lot of change orders there. a lot of good change orders.
If you ran this, Bam, it would have been 40 billion,
Oh,
not 10 billion.
easy. I'd be retired.
yourself up to that.
I'd be retired on my own island.
Huggin,
man.
Huggin Senator wanted some stairs going up his deck. Bam quoted him like $11,000 for like a stringer and like. And
No,
like,
I did
and
not.
like 20 steps.
No, I
and
did
some
not.
nails and some
you,
paint.
Bam? Oh my lord!
Oh, you wanted steps? Wait, you actually wanted steps?
That's
Give me
11,000.
the friends and family discount.
That's
He
right.
goes, yeah, but you got to put the footing in. That's work, and then you got to, you got to do the
I gotta-
you got to cut everything.
I got to smoke a cigar in between every hour of the labor.
You got to cut everything. I got guys. I got to have to come down.
He'd be a good salesman
He
for
would.
me. Yeah.
I don't think Senator's buying
You
it.
got to
though.
cut all the wood. You got to cut all the wood. You got guys. Then you got to get nails.
Yeah.
You got to go to you got to get the material.
Are they
By
gonna
the
hammer
time they
down?
get here, that's
Senator-
already 7,000.
The problem with Senator, he's too analytical. He pulled out the abacus and the calculator. And I was like, that's not a kind of client for me.
What is
No.
the abacus?
I think he's referring to a Chinese counting tool or something.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't own an abacus.
Well, anyway, boys, if
It's aquarium.
you guys haven't, a bunch of you guys haven't seen much about it. I'm sure there's a lot of listeners that haven't either. I'm telling you, go to NASA.gov and
Gotta
bird
check it
dog
out.
this thing. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
By the
It's
way-
like
by
the
the way-
greatest kind of porn is
By the
space
way,
porn.
Gizmo, I feel like you need some vindication tonight. You are right. 13 billion years ago, it traces light back
Ah,
as far as that.
Isn't that interesting?
See?
Thank you,
Well,
Senator.
No, that's good. And then you can go meet your relatives. Okay. All of your relatives, you can go meet them all,
All the gremlins.
Oh, so now we know where you
Yeah.
come from. All right.
and speak in tongues and do whatever you do.
I'm just trying to figure out who I am.
How's the drink coming along?
Very good.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The Johnny Walker Double Black.
I am surprised at how
There is one thing
much I
about
like
this that is really surprising me specifically, and it's the peatiness I'm getting out of it. I'm getting a little bit of peat.
That I expected.
Yeah.
Remember,
I think that's intentional, right? I mean, Johnny Walker
Yeah.
Black has always been known as having some peat to it. That's the difference really between that and like a Chivas. And I assume the double black would be a more robust flavor. So I was expecting there to be peat here.
It's really delicious.
It's not off-putting though.
no.
No, I
No.
think it's like the perfect amount.
It is.
This is to me the perfect beginner whiskey for someone who's trying to dabble with peat. I
Yeah.
think this is the perfect place to start.
This is what Grinder should have given you before
Yes.
Kalila or Lagavulin.
Right.
agree.
Right.
Yeah, this is really, really nice.
And it's pairing well with the Tabernacle.
However,
is.
Grinder never would have bought a blended scotch.
no, it
Oh,
was a
no.
single malt only. What are you guys thinking about the Tabernacle, by the way? We're about an inch into it.
It's good. It's a heavy smoke.
Yeah.
It's
It's
you know,
thick.
like really coats your mouth. And
The smoke is nice and velvety, thick.
definitely an after dinner
Yeah.
type of smoke.
Yeah, what I like about this and just any of the heavier, fuller smokes that we've reviewed, when it's able to do that in a way that isn't a nicotine bomb or isn't overly aggressive, I'm all about it. And so far, that's been this. It's been, a smooth delivery of a ton of flavor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy that there's no harshness in the back of my throat, which I was expecting.
Right.
I'm very happy that that's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not getting that.
Agree with all those comments. I have
Yeah.
nothing to add.
And I do think that it is pairing perfectly with this Johnny
I
Walker.
agree.
I think they're a really nice match.
Absolutely.
So how much is the double black?
Yeah.
I've forgotten, but around $40.
That's not bad at all.
Really? That sounds low.
That's not bad. It does sound low.
Wait, is that cheaper than regular?
No, because I think the single came around 32 or 33. And I think this was a couple of bucks more than that, maybe 38.
I'd figure this is closer to 60.
wow. No. Pagoda's right.
Wow.
On Total Wine, 36 for this.
Wow. Wow.
That's pretty damn good.
I'd have this again.
I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very accessible.
Yeah.
And it's pretty easy to find, I'm assuming, right? Given the.
Yeah, I think I prefer this to the regular Johnny Black.
I do too.
So how do you compare the two? What are your opinions on that?
I think the regular, I as far as a simple blended Scotch, I don't love. I think the fact that it requires, in some cases, a sploosh, as Pagoda would say, I think is a detriment to it. I think this is drinking perfectly with 2 ice cubes.
Yeah.
No, I kind of agree because I think in a regular Johnny Black, I love a splash of soda. This I can just do with ice.
Is that because of the peatiness of the?
Peaty, smooth. It's just very
There's
easy going.
yeah,
There's no harshness.
No, there's a smoothness to it in combination with a little bit of that peat. It's kind of balanced.
So going
And
back
there's some sweetness there too, which is nice.
Rooster was asking an interesting question. So you need a sploosh with the regular black label.
Well,
For me.
sometimes, not always.
Is that
'cause
because it's peatier than this? Is that why?
No, it's
No,
the
less.
opposite. It's less
Oh,
peaty.
less
It just
than
has
this.
more of a
I see,
bite.
I see.
But let's remember when we reviewed the regular Johnny Walker Black, we were stunned.
We
that
liked
there
it.
was no bite. We
Yeah.
even tried it neat,
And
and there
we-
was no bite. And I even
Right.
pulled out Kirkland 12 for Gizmo,
Yes,
and
that's
he
true.
was stunned how similar the two of them drank.
That's exactly
So
right.
when you get somehow, if I felt like we got a good bottle of just regular Black Label. You don't need soda. I think even Pagoda was saying he
Yeah.
preferred it neat that day, where normally he would want either a lot of ice or some
Yeah.
soda. But I do agree that this is
Even smoother.
smoother, more complex,
Yep.
and is just really intended only for sipping. I would not mix this with anything.
No.
Yeah, I do, and I think something just crossed my mind, which is interesting. Like, as you revisit these things, like we revisited Johnny Walker Black, or not revisited it, but well, maybe it was a little bit of a revisitation because it's not something that
We don't drink it every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So, in that pleasant experience, it's like, keeping an open mind and revisiting things, I think, is an important thing to just consider. With spirits, whether it's cognac or whether it's, try things that are new. If somebody likes something, don't just disregard it and say, that's try new things, because I think that, like, even if there was a worthwhile exercise to revisit Johnny Walker. And like, I think it's surprising because I remember having like bad experiences with the double, like where I was like, ugh, this is no. And I'm enjoying this.
They
So-
also also make the Ghost, right?
Yeah. Blue
Black-
Label Ghost.
Blue,
that-
it's a Blue Label.
Yeah.
Ghost.
Is that
It's a
that
blue-
like Game of Thrones?
I don't know about
edition?
that
Is that in the
reference,
same
but-
conversation with this though, in terms of
It's not.
No.
The reason why,
Much,
because
much higher level.
I thought it was like a part of Black Label Ghost, but I guess it's Blue Label.
Blue Label,
Ghost,
yeah.
At a reformer lounge, somebody had brought a case of that.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah.
To Poopa's credit, by the way, revisiting, I want to give myself a pat on the back because I did revisit Chivas Regal,
Oh, you did.
And you loved it.
and it was very, very good. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
yeah. I mean, like,
Better than the Kirkland?
Let's go there now.
Better than my first
no,
time.
but no
going-
joke. Like
No, you're right though. You're right.
I'm gonna be at the beach soon and doing some things and going away, taking some time.
Little
Like some
flask.
of these. Well, no, but I mean, I'm gonna have a bar of various spirits while I'm there. I have some people coming in and out and things like that, and I may buy like a bottle of Chivas just to have there,
Yeah.
and then bring it back. It's not like I'll do, but I'm gonna buy some things and stock up and have a few options. I'm on vacation.
The
you know?
lizards
And
may
I just
join you.
think that you should.
We may.
We
may have to come down.
We'll talk logistics. I think
Now we're
that,
talking.
you should consider.
I wear my Speedos.
Yes.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, it's a free country.
I will.
How about you?
I'm not going to tell the man what to do.
I will manscape before I
Well,
come down.
You know.
Considering that a lot of birthdays around this time of the year, it'd be a great time to celebrate.
would.
Sure. It would be. I'm not looking forward to the visual, but
You may be surprised.
yes.
It's got to be one of the neon yellows or neon greens.
Yes.
Oh,
But
yeah.
anyway, what my point was trying these things and is good because like it opens your mind. And the only point I was trying to make was that as I think about buying copious amounts of alcohol for my vacation, I may put some of these things in my rotation that I normally wouldn't. That's the point. And not that I'll drink it all, but I'll bring it back.
Yeah.
It's because I may have a scotch in a solo cup while I'm just like out barbecuing. Like, why not throw some Chivas in there?
I would argue, why not throw this in there? This
Or
is
a
very
double
good.
black.
Right, or why not throw some of this in?
And Bam Bam shows up in a slingshot.
Who knows? We go up on the beach, bring something up there just to nip on.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very, very good. So we're about halfway through here, boys, on the Tabernacle Maduro Robusto. I am
I'm
very
s-
surprised.
Yeah, it's consistent.
It's a smokable cigar.
It's
Totally.
very good. It's very good.
Very happy with this.
Yeah.
For
I
$11
mean,
bucks
for
too.
$11, it's a great
Yeah.
buy. Yeah.
I totally agree.
And online, it's even cheaper, by the way. Yeah, if you get a box.
So I know we've talked about it a few times. I just wanted to give a little update because the judge in the case came out and was pretty against what the FDA has been doing and their position on premium cigars. So we talked about this. The FDA has been trying to regulate premium cigars like they do cigarettes and other tobacco products. And the premium cigar industry, brands like this and others that we love, have been really pushing back on it because what it does is if you're a cigarette manufacturer or a different type of tobacco manufacturer, you have to spend, I think it's close to 6 figures to register and put your product to test with the FDA to finally get it to market. So I guess the FDA tried to loop premium hand-rolled cigars into that discussion, which obviously they're incredibly different products. Yes, they're all made from tobacco, but first, we're not inhaling. These are hand-rolled. There's no chemicals, et cetera, that are added in. and the Premium Cigar Association and others have been fighting it. And the judge in the case, Judge Mehta, issued an opinion concluding that the FDA acted, quote, arbitrarily and capriciously when it decided to regulate premium cigars in 2016. So what it seems that even though that this ruling is, I believe, temporary, and there's going to be a final ruling coming sometime in the next, I would say, few months, he said in his opinion, he faulted the FDA for failing to consider scientific evidence submitted by the Cigar Rights of America regarding the moderate use and the limited health effects of premium cigars. So they went out and hired doctors and professionals to evaluate the effects of premium cigars. And
Right. So there's nothing in the literature, in peer-reviewed journals or otherwise, that has any definitive data around the health impact of cigars. Like it's not, there's nothing there, because if there was, I've read about it too. And if there was, believe me, the Food and Drug Administration would step in if there was data to really hard data to support the negative impacts of cigar smoking.
On the contrary, I think it's a stress reliever.
Absolutely.
Better for the heart.
Well, sure, it's a stress reliever, but that these things, the health impacts are not mutually exclusive. Alcohol is a stress reliever, but the health impacts on people who abuse alcohol at various levels is significant.
The fact that Roos has been smoking cigars for 30 years and is breathing well.
well, right,
It's a
but
testament.
no, but my point is that there's no real evidence in the literature that really supports anything. Or guess what? Believe me, FDA would have a label on these boxes. They would do what they could to do it, but there's nothing.
well, that's what they tried to do in 2016.
I mean, I think it's very simple. I think first, obviously, by lumping in premium cigars, we're not talking about, Philly blunts and gas station cigars. Premium cigars is stuff we smoke and review here. By lumping that in with all tobacco products, namely cigarettes, that's suggesting that they're one and the same, and they're not, in the sense that these are entirely natural. There are no additives. In cigarettes, on average, 10% of what's in a cigarette is just added shit.
Chemical
Chemical all kinds of
additives.
stuff.
That's right.
Right. So they're worlds apart there. And to Puba's point around the health effects, now, obviously, there are health risks with just about anything that we consume, right? Even just eating, meat. There are a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
Anything that we consume, there are health risks. And cigars are not exempt from that. Obviously, there are some health risks. But the point being, right, that the risks are so vastly different from cigarettes, where this is not a product that is meant to be inhaled, right? So the lung issues that a traditional smoker, that's not the same here. And even the other risks that are associated with it are so much less than the studies that the industry usually cites, and that I believe the FDA even did, states essentially that anyone who consumes 2 cigars in a sitting, the health effects are negligible.
Yeah.
Right. Now, that doesn't include us lizards that have 5 cigars in a sitting, but what I'm confident in is that 5 cigars and 5 cigarettes are worlds apart.
Yeah.
And that's what the industry is simply trying to fight for, to make sure that there is that clear line of distinction between them. And it's good to see that finally courts are recognizing that.
And the other argument too, quickly, that the FDA made is that they were trying to say that like Juul, like other tobacco products, that this can get into the hands of children.
That's ridiculous.
Which is the best argument that the cigar industry's ever had, in that why they want premium cigars to be carved out and not with gas station cigars and other crap is find one kid that is walking down the street with a Padron Exclusivo in his hand or in his mouth. You will never, ever find that.
It's
There's
ridiculous.
nothing desirable about this to a child.
No.
Nothing.
The
No.
cost
Zero.
prohibitive.
Gizmo, quick question.
Yep.
Are they including vapes and vape products in this?
No, this is this specific ruling is the judge carving out
I see.
specifically premium handmade cigars.
Yeah, and I think Puba makes a great point. I think the science is what distinguishes this.
Yeah. So just quickly, in his 19-page opinion, I love this. He said that the judge said that the FDA's decision to regulate premium handmade cigars was, quote, not reasoned decision making, and he faulted the FDA for, quote, its non-responsive circular reasoning and waving away evidence of actual current usage patterns. So it's not a final success or a final big win for the premium cigar industry, but it's certainly looking like this judge is going to rule that way come fall.
You know,
I
there's
hope
there's
he's a
enough.
cigar smoker.
Yeah, there's enough. By the way, there's enough cigar smokers in Congress and the Senate.
Not to
This
mention,
this shit, and the judges can rule whatever. And enough judges that smoke cigars too. I mean, this is lunacy.
now what's
They're-
interesting.
They're not going
Yeah.
to start to regulate these things that regulate the shit out of cigars. I just don't think.
Well,
it's
they
a winning
already
battle.
are, but I mean,
Well, they're not putting labeling
Well,
on
hold
the
on.
boxes.
There are
That's true.
there are doctors.
They're not putting labeling on the boxes. I mean, it's regulated to a degree.
right.
It's taxed. There's some oversight on the distribution, but I mean, other than that, I mean, they're not regulated the way in terms of warning labels.
But I
and-
think that's what they're trying to do.
well, that's what they're trying to do.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, I think that there's not enough oomph behind the fight. I don't know who's fighting for this because you go to Washington D.C. I mean, Senator, he's spent enough time in that town.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of cigar smokers in that
Well,
town. Are people really pushing for this?
There
What-
are, but you go to DC, and this goes to a prior podcast where I mentioned, right?
I mean, who's winning in this?
When I used to live in DC, you know, there were several cigar lounges they could go and enjoy a cigar. They're down to one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is this push, unfortunately, and that's why cases like this really are
awful.
important.
Awful.
I mean, it's a shame.
But you get boxes from like the other countries, and you see all the amount of labels that are on it,
Sure.
like health labels.
Yep.
I mean,
But
Yeah,
here's-
because they've
here's-
lumped it in with cigarettes. and
Here's an
any
interesting
tobacco
thing.
product.
You know, I've had clients that are in the medical profession, cardiothoracic surgeons, doctors in general, other practitioners. They smoke cigars. You know, there's something to be said about the stress relief of a cigar that's that surpasses the benefits.
Yeah. You mean the risks?
Yeah, surpasses the risk. I mean, it's lunacy.
it just slows everything down, right? When
Sure.
you smoke a cigar, you're smoking at least for like an hour.
Sure.
And it just slows everything down. It de-stresses, and it, you know, I think it has more health benefits than negative. And if you think about how many cigars does an average cigar smoker smoke in a week?
Two.
Average.
I
I mean, two, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
1 to 2
three.
maybe.
Not us, but yes.
Yeah. So the health risk right there is very negligible.
So hopefully it's a big win come fall, but it looks like it's certainly going to be that way and makes it a little bit more cost possible for manufacturers to continue to make new cigars and release new cigars.
Yeah, and the only other thing, you know, obviously for us as consumers, it's obvious why this is important to us, right? We don't need this industry to be hyper regulated. But for the manufacturers, for these cigar brands, why this is so important is because if they are fully lumped in with cigars, forget just labeling that they
Cigarettes.
have to add. Sorry, with cigarettes, forget just the labeling that they would have to add and things like that. It's also the FDA requires regular testing of these products, and not regular like, you know, once a year. It's a frequent process because there are so many additives and things that, if not done right, could be really harmful to a consumer. And so if the cigar industry has to do the same thing with a completely natural, organic, hand-rolled and made product, they are going to have so many higher expenses from a just compliance standpoint
Right.
Yeah.
that it's going to raise, you know, prices for consumers. It's going to be a
And
problem.
it would
the-
also, I'm sorry, it would also eliminate a lot of the boutique brands.
It's true.
Well, as a
Yeah.
result, sure.
Can't
because
afford
the
to
le-
comply.
The legal and regulatory expense. And also, you know, they're not going to be able to. There's so many different brands, so many different blends, so many different. Who at the FDA is going to be actually managing this? They're not resourced even to do this. They're barely resourced to do what they need to do for just what they're doing now. I mean, it takes years and years and years just to get a drug to market, much less just doing the regular, you know, things that they have to do on a daily basis across functions. So, how are they even going to resource the agency? And so they're going to resource the agency, the FDA. They're going to have to resource it to manage this, and that's going to and then who's going to pay for that? I mean, it's crazy.
And that's what's sad, because if you've even seen some of the more vocal voices on just the regulatory environment of cigars, obviously Carlito is definitely one of them. He's very outspoken on social media about all of this. He's talked about how, he would potentially have to cut jobs just to try to offset some of the increased costs that are associated with this,
Sure.
right? And so that loses jobs for people who would normally be making these. That restricts the supply for, folks like us who consume these products. There's just so many effects.
Yeah, and it slows speed to market, which
Yep.
means they'll cut lines, cut sizes, cut releases. Everything would would contract in terms of what they're releasing, the creativity around it.
More generic.
Because the speed to market would go to a crawl, maybe, depending on how it plays out. Which, I mean, come on. I mean, this is this is an example of over government overreach that got ends up being not productive.
Yeah.
And hurting more people and businesses and creating less choice and freedom, which is never a good thing for the country.
Yeah.
So
Well, hopefully it'll be the end of it
yeah.
come this fall, and we'll continue to be able to smoke great cigars.
Yeah, and we'll be able to look into the galaxy,
Yeah.
find, and find
Other gizmos.
Gizmo's relatives.
No longer
And, they may come down and be like, nanu, fucking give us the answers.
I just want to send the FDA. I think some of us have sent this around. You remember the Cigar Aficionado piece they did on the guy who at the time was the oldest living American?
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy, so he passed in 2018. He was 112 years old. He was the oldest man in the U.S. and the oldest veteran of World War II. And the guy, they ask his sort of life story, this black guy. There's a great article on CA about this, and they've got a photo.
Great
of him.
video too.
It's awesome. And they ask, what's your secret? How'd you live to 112? And he said, cigar a day. That was the secret.
Well, that's right,
Dude.
A cigar a day. It's funny, it's actually his immune system, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, there was a Cuban guy by the name of Compay Segundo. He was part of the Buena Vista Social Club.
I know Compay. I know.
Right,
Him.
so
Yeah,
he-
he's a good buddy of mine.
you just aged yourself.
Compadre.
No.
So he lived till 98, and he was asked the same question, like, what's the secret to your longevity? And he said, there's three. They said, well, what is it? He said, I smoke a lot, I drink a lot, and I fuck a lot.
Oh, Hankala.
Jesus.
All BAM approved activities.
There's another quote too by I think it was George Burns, who famously had, always had a cigar in his hand, smoked a ton of cigars. And I think the quote was, I'm going to butcher the quote, but the gist of it was, somebody asked him, like, what do your doctors think if you smoking all these cigars? And he said, I don't know. I went to all their funerals. He outlived them all.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Instead of like an apple a day, it should be a cigar a day.
Cigar a day.
That's right.
A therapy session for sure, and it's got to be relaxing. And
I mean,
It's
what's
got-
what's
it's gotta have
better?
some
What's
positive.
better than this? What we're doing right now?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
We're smoking great cigars, having great conversations,
Yeah.
hanging out, chilling, and recording a podcast. I mean, it's
It's a gift.
it's
Yeah.
It's a gift.
It is.
Nice. We all of us, we look forward to like whatever day we record. I mean, all week we just look forward to this. thing.
Absolutely.
For sure. Sure.
Thank God for cigars.
The social aspect of smoking cigars, I think, very important. As you grow older, the more you socialize, the more your brain stays active, right? There's a lot to it.
And I find too, and I guess I'm going to speak generally here, but I find a lot of the time, and obviously this group came together through cigars, and a lot of the other folks that we meet at lounges or people that we meet who smoke cigars, I always find that those conversations are high level, interesting, they're intriguing conversations. Certainly there are some folks that we avoid like the plague when we're smoking cigars, but generally, really it's a good thing for the mind.
Yeah.
And for relaxing and for meeting new people.
Ask Winston Churchill. The world's problems can be solved over a cigar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we all come from different walks of life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the senator says it's a great equalizer.
Oh, yeah.
And I subscribe to that.
Yep.
And even in this room, we have different points of view on life, but we come together or not on life, but I mean on certain aspects of life or whatever, and you're able to come together and meet on common ground through these shared values when it comes to appreciating certain things, and that's a nice thing. And I do think there's something about cigar smokers too, like the personality archetype, that they're social creatures generally. I mean, I'm not making a definitive statement because
Repeat the line.
End quote. Repeat the line. I'm not making a definitive statement, but I think but generally speaking, I think many cigar smokers they're social animals. They're into being out and around and about and meeting and talking to people.
But I would say that we're like extroverted introverts in a way. Like we're not the same type of people who are going to clubs or bars just to do it. It's through this vehicle of the cigar that we're having in our hand, we meet like-minded people. And I think, like you said, I think the archetype of that person is different and interesting. And I think it all adds up.
Can we talk about someone who I think needs cigars in their life?
Ooh, who's that?
Ooh.
Nick Kyrgios.
Oh, the tennis player.
He could use a cigar.
Yeah, he can.
I mean, my goodness.
He could use a lot.
Oh yeah.
He could use a lot. Well, he could probably use like a
Valium.
Well, yeah, he could use that plus a serotonin reuptake inhibitor.
Reuptake. On tap.
Yeah, like a little an SSRI.
It was like, yeah,
like a Lexapro, or a Prozac of some sort, therapeutic regimen that can maybe get him moving towards a place that's out of where he's at. He's talking to himself like a fucking lunatic.
It's insane
on the tennis court, and it's disturbing
and entertaining.
Somewhat entertaining. You're transfixed in terms of trying to really understand how this is happening, and he's like a paradox wrapped up in like a vortex of insanity because his tennis is outstanding.
He's ultra talented
in terms of his serve, which is probably the best in the game right now.
I agree.
We were talking about this, I think, earlier. His half volleys, his touch, he's able to hit from the baseline and hit drop shots, passing shots. The guy is, but he talks to himself like a lunatic and yells at people, and it's disturbing.
I mean, the guy's just nuts. I mean, exactly what you're saying. He has so much talent, but just the way he conducts himself. It's the same reason, we talked, I think, probably our first episode. I think we were watching the U.S. Open at that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
About a year ago.
With the microfiche.
The microfiche. and Medvedev and Djokovic.
Yeah.
And, my problem, particularly with Djokovic, is just how he conducts himself when he's frustrated or angry and losing. And it's just it lacks respect for the game. And for Nick Kyrgios, it's so frustrating. You watch him and you sit there and you say, wow, this guy's incredible. Some of the stuff that he's able to do, no one in the world can do. Why he just has to ruin it by acting like a complete idiot on the tennis court and shouting at his own family members and friends in his box and fans and ball boys and the chair ump. There's always a whole big production. It's just so unnecessary.
Here's a question for you guys.
Hold on. He's so afraid. I know the answer. It doesn't take. You don't need a degree in psychology.
Sounds like a definitive statement.
Well,
JDS.
Gizmo strikes back.
Well, I'm going to say this with some confidence, but I'm very confident about this hypothesis. And I think he's so afraid of failing, or he's so afraid of success that it gets in the way. He fails. So, in other words, he's so afraid of failure.
You mean to say he's like George?
He self-sabotages himself.
He's like George from Seinfeld.
He self-sabotages. This is what he's doing. He's up 40 love. He self-sabotages, and he starts to make a bunch of excuses and does this whole thing. because if he bared down and showed that there wasn't some existential force that's distracting him or making him lose, that he can't take full responsibility for the loss. He has to have some sort of out. So this insecurity manifests itself in fear, and his fear of losing, his fear of showing the world that he wants to win so badly that he'll do anything and then fail is overwhelming to him.
That's a great hypothesis. I mean, I got to say, I like that a lot.
And the reason that resonates with me, if you just think back to when he was in the Wimbledon final against Djokovic, I was struck how he loses that. They do the post-game interview with him before they present Djokovic with the trophy. And he said a couple of things I thought were fascinating. Well, one, he's been on record as saying before, once he wins a major, if he ever wins a major, why does he need to win another after that? He says, you've reached the mountaintop. Why do I need to win more? And I love the announcers who said, well, why don't you ask Djokovic and Federer and Nadal and all these guys, like you win one and then you want to win 20 plus of them, right? So it's just very odd that answer from him. And then even right after losing Wimbledon, they ask him how he feels, and he says, "Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm just glad this match is over. I've played more tennis here than I normally play in a tournament." And it's like an excuse almost to your point of he doesn't want to do what it takes to be successful and to sustain success, because you win and then there's the pressure to keep winning.
Right.
And he doesn't want that.
He doesn't want the responsibility of being a champion.
Yep.
He doesn't want the responsibility of putting himself out there and saying, I want this so bad. He's got to take responsibility for the loss and look the world in the eye like a gentleman and say, I got beat today. He's got to have some sort of existential force in his mind to justify the loss, to protect himself from this feeling, this overwhelming feeling that he anticipates of being an abject failure. So he can't embrace success. He can't strive for it. It's so he self-sabotages.
And to your point, it's funny, if you rewind years ago, whenever he made a major final for the first time, it was against Nadal, and it was maybe the French Open. It was Kyrgios and Nadal. And Kyrgios, the night before the final, went out to a nightclub and was there until 4 a.m. He had to play a final the next morning. And it was his agent or his trainer. Someone dragged him out of a nightclub saying, it's 4 a.m. You got to be up in the morning. You got to play a final. It's self-sabotage. It's exactly what you're describing. And then the excuse is very easy for him of, well, I was out partying till 4 a.m. Oh, no big deal. On to the next thing. It's just a shame. And I wouldn't care at all.
It's Nadal. I'll never beat him on clay.
Right.
Try.
Right. Others have.
I mean,
not
he's
often, but
he's
they
kind of
have.
like already accepting defeat before he even begins.
Yeah.
you know?
No, but he should be like George. Remember when George goes celibate, he experiences clarity in everything he does.
I love that episode, by the way.
Yeah, that's the great
Oh,
episode.
you mean George Costanza?
Yeah.
George from Seinfeld. I would say he needs to be celibate, smoke a cigar. I think he'll be winning a lot of tournaments.
Well, he's got every aspect of the game going for him, but including his serve.
He just needs to change his attitude.
Yeah.
It's going back to the brand of tennis that he plays. You go back in history and look at guys like Sampras, incredible player, not memorable.
Yep.
Not very memorable.
He's memorable to me.
We're talking so much about this guy. The only reason we care is because his brand of tennis is so enjoyable to watch. If he could just comport himself in a respectable way, he'd have a lot more fans than he does. And the funny thing, why I say all of this, and I think Puba's really onto something about this kind of being an act and just self-sabotage. When you watch his interviews after matches, he's remarkably normal and even self-aware. I mean, I can't believe you watch, going back to when he lost Wimbledon, he sits there and he says, he makes self-deprecating jokes. I know I've had a challenge relationship with the chair ump and the line judges and the ball boys. And, he recognizes that he's a pain in the ass. So it's not that the guy is so narcissistic and delusional that he thinks everything he does is perfectly normal and he causes no problems. He does recognize it. It's as though he just chooses to be that way. Where I
That's correct.
contrast that to, and I've obviously given this commentary before when we've talked about Djokovic. What pisses me off about Djokovic is you watch a post-game interview with him, and he has literally hit a tennis ball at a line judge, and they ask him, "Do you think this is a problem? You lost a tournament. You had to forfeit a tournament because you hit a ball in anger at a line judge," and he says, "I don't see any problem."
That's
with
because he's a narcissist.
Right.
So Djokovic is a narcissist. He's a complete and total narcissist. So he doesn't have really like he's got that aspect to his personality where I think Kyrgios is a complete opposite of that. This guy isn't a narcissist. This guy reeks of insecurity. Where Djokovic is completely and totally like the narcissism and the lack of introspection, which is a classic trait of the narcissist, and the lack of kind of empathy, to be introspective enough to understand that hitting a ball at a ball boy or at a line judge is completely and totally unacceptable and needs to take responsibility for that, is different than taking responsibility for winning. You see, Djokovic's narcissistic personality powers him to win and be what he is because he can just block out everything and just serve his own interest. This is not what Kyrgios is. He's deep down, he is so scared and horrified that he can't embrace success. He can't embrace winning and putting himself on the line to get there.
I think Kyrgios needs an appointment with Dr. Melfi.
Dr. Puba.
Well, he does.
Dr. Puba.
Dr. Melfi could help him. I think the actual Dr. Melfi could help.
Yeah, I think he needs that.
Sure. Yeah. I think everyone could. I want an appointment with Lorraine Bracco.
Oh, yeah.
Even now.
Oh, yeah.
Karen, that was everything we had. Karen.
How about Ray Liotta dying, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
James Caan.
James
Ray
Caan,
Liotta.
The greats.
And who was the other one?
Paulie Walnuts.
Paulie Walnuts.
Yeah,
Paulie.
Walnuts.
That's it.
Yeah. You sent around the whole thing, his whole hygiene issue with shoelaces. It's the fucking greatest thing ever. They're all sitting down to eat dinner, and he's like, you can't touch your shoelaces.
Disgusting.
It's disgusting. You ever go in a men's bathroom? All the rebound.
You gotta watch it again.
Paulie Walnuts. I'm going through it right now. That's why I brought up Dr. Melfi.
Yeah.
Love it.
I'm watching Sopranos again. It's so good.
Yeah, it is.
So good.
It is good. Over and over
It's
and
so
over.
good.
It is.
This cigar is good.
Yeah, we're coming in the last third here, boys.
Still
of
very
the
good.
Foundation Cigar Company Tabernacle.
It's
in
a
Maduro.
little bit like the Padron 90th, to me,
Right? Yeah.
Agree.
right?
Yeah.
That's a wonderful comparison at the price point. I mean,
yeah.
that's a major compliment for this cigar right now.
Yeah, it's getting
Major
high.
compliment.
Yeah, yeah.
I've liked it.
Yeah.
High praise.
I mean, can you? How different this cigar is compared to a Cuban cigar?
Yeah, it's wild.
It's got like Nicaraguan DNA. It's heavy. It's a lot of, I don't know, I call it like deep espresso note, a little bit of raisin, but it's a heavy smoke.
Yeah.
But it's so smooth. I can't get
smooth,
over how
yeah.
smooth this is for
And-
$11.
And very tasty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Easy smoke as well. Great smoke output.
Yeah. So, guys, the Johnny Walker Double Black. I think it was a great pairing tonight. You guys ready to do the formal liquor rating on this thing?
Yes, sir.
All right, Bam Bam, you're up.
I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Again, I love drinkability. That matters. And the price point's incredible.
Strong 8.
8 for Pagoda. Senator.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same camp. When you factor in the price point, if this was $60 a bottle, would I give this an 8? No, but at $36.40 a bottle, I think it's well worth it. It's an 8.
I'm in the same place. 8 all day. Great.
Yep. Agree.
All right. I don't need to do the math on that, boys. Composite Lizard scores an 8.0.
Wow.
I think that's a great
Yeah.
price point. Great rating for that.
Value for money.
Yeah.
It delivers like a nice, I think in the winter, casual winter scotch, casual, chill, wonderful.
I'm definitely going to buy a bottle of this for my house for
Yeah.
sure.
No, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
a good group of friends hanging out, just chilling.
Can I
You
ask you
buy
a
a
question?
bottle?
Can I
Yeah.
ask you a question?
Yeah.
As a guy who you drink a lot of Johnny Walker
Yeah.
Black, why would you not, for a few bucks more, reach for this versus the regular? Why?
No.
Why would you do that? I don't.
I reach for both, by the way.
Okay.
But what it is the Johnny Black before the Double Black came out was just a go-to, and so it's like a familiar friend, right? Like
It's a
you just go
classic.
to it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a classic like the Chivas.
classic.
Yeah.
And I think I'm
And-
definitely going to buy a box of these cigars.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah.
I mean, for $11 a minute, it's a good
And by the
buy.
way, online if you buy a box, way cheaper.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
you
yeah.
could probably get a box of 25 of these for, I don't know, $225 maybe. Less than that even, $204.
I think both of the products today would serve well for a larger party that you're having.
Yeah, if you need to put stuff out for folks,
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But would you give this cigar to a novice?
I would. And honestly, we throw cigar get-togethers here in town, large groups, and I usually go for the Glenlivet, the 12-year. I'll probably serve this at the next one and probably give this cigar out.
So I'll say, I mean, I'm with you on the Scotch, but I would not give this cigar to a novice. This is as full flavored a cigar.
But I
But
think-
the
As you can
smoothness really, I think, rounds
But
it
I think
out.
if you're also at a party and you're serving barbecue,
And we are.
hot
Ver-
dogs, hamburgers,
Heavy foods.
ribs, heavy
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
fatty stuff. I think the cigar,
Yeah.
even for a reasonably novice smoker, I think the cigar is going to do just
I
fine
think so too.
after a big hearty meal.
And the price.
Yeah.
That's what takes it over the edge for
Absolutely.
me. The
11
price.
bucks?
Yeah.
Come
yeah.
on. Absolutely.
Well, I don't want to get into tit for tat, but I don't.
But you will.
To me, this is I think the cigar is pretty full flavored, and I'm not sure. I don't know how we're characterizing a novice, but this is to me, this is for somebody who
Let's smoke
can
cigar.
handle a cigar like this. I mean,
Yeah.
this is
That's
not.
true. Yeah.
That's
It's
fair.
not
Okay.
heavy-handed, but I mean,
It's got a lot
because
of
it
flavor.
has smooth, it's got a lot of flavor,
It's
but
full.
it's full. I mean, this is a full cigar, but I think it's probably medium full strength.
Mhm.
It's like it didn't give me this nicotine blast that is like so crazy, but
Yeah.
it's in there. So I mean, I wouldn't give it. I'm kind of with Senator. I
Hmm.
wouldn't give it to a novice and expect them to be able to get all the way through it.
Yeah.
I just, but
Yeah, I
that's
think-
just my opinion.
I think with too inexperienced a smoker, this will end very poorly. This will end with them hunched over.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
That'd be fun
maybe.
to see.
Maybe that's what we're going for.
Good smoke. Good smoke. I mean, good smoke.
Oh,
Yeah.
great smoke. Yeah, I
Ah,
just think it has to be for
great.
someone who at least, regularly smokes cigars.
You guys ready to do the formal lizard rating on this thing? All right, Rooster, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very satisfied with this cigar. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
I am right there with you. 8.
It's going to be an easy night, an 8.
All right. Pagoda.
This is a strong 8 or 9. I've been debating between the two. Strong 8 for me, otherwise, but because of the history, because of my relationship with my buddy, I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
All right.
Bam.
I'm giving it an 8, but I can see where it could be a 9 because of the price.
All right. The composite lizard score is an 8.2.
That's insane.
Oof, that's really high for this, but yeah,
Wow.
it is.
I think this is an
For the
82. I
price.
mean,
Yeah.
I think it is.
I think you can't have a preconceived notion because of the brand. I think like Rooster has said many times, you rate it for what it is.
Enjoyable. It really was enjoyable. I
Yeah.
liked it. I
Yeah.
mean,
I think the
I
thing is,
really liked it.
at an 8.2, for someone who likes a full-bodied cigar,
Yeah.
this is an 8.2. This is going to
Yeah.
deliver for them.
It's good.
On a budget.
On a budget.
I think the Liga 9 gave us a little bit more flavor.
It did.
It did.
Yeah,
It
but
did.
listen,
Sure.
that's like a
It's a
17 to a 20. Yeah,
$18,
yeah.
$20
I think
cigar.
that
So for
the-
half the price.
Yeah.
Half the
this
price.
is,
But the rating on a Liga, I think, was a bit higher from
The
Yeah.
Liga 9, we gave an 8.4.
right.
It's a little bit higher.
Yeah, just above.
Yeah.
Fair.
Don't forget the Liga, though, was like, to use one of Senator's words, it was like chimney. Like we couldn't see each other in here.
No, it was,
Yeah.
It was crazy.
it was awesome.
a good deal.
And you know
It
what?
was
This
awesome.
cigar is burning really slow.
It
if
was.
you really think about it.
Yeah. Yep.
That
And the
was a-
construction's been great. The ash has held on. I don't think anyone has had ash end up in their lap. It's well constructed, too.
Yep. Haven't really touched it up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a closing thought. It's a bit of a brute, you know. It's got a little bit of chutzpah to it. This cigar, I feel like it's got a little bit of attitude, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
in kind of a good way. It says, hey, I'm here, you know. And
But you got to remember also that Nick Melillo started this whole company in 2015.
Yeah,
right?
it's a young brand.
And so it's a very young brand.
Wow.
And it's only going to develop further as time progresses.
yeah, it's got chutzpah, this thing, in a good way.
I like that chutzpah.
It does.
It's got kahunas.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of, you know,
Oomph.
oomph.
Yeah,
I like-
in like a good
Like-
good oomph.
I like chutzpah.
I like
better.
kahunas.
I'm going to use chutzpah.
All right. So with that, we'll get Bam some cojones and we'll call it.
Yeah, boys, an 8.2 for the Foundation Cigar Company Tabernacle Robusto in Maduro, an 8.0 for the Johnny Walker Double Black. Great night.
Successful night.
Yes, sir. All right, boys, we'll see you next week.
Keep smoking.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave us a rating and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have any comments, questions, if you want to reach out, say hello, tell us what you're smoking, email us, loungelizardspod, P-O-D, that's loungelizardspod@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram @loungelizardspod. We really appreciate your time, and we'll see you next week.